started the career with Cone Elevators as finance executive, handling costing for 3 years, then as finance analyst with Shell India for 3 years, and then as associate manager, management reporting with Standard Chartered Bank for 5 years, as senior manager in Philips for 1 year, and now with Olam for 4 years, handling the financial transformation team. Work experience includes working out of India, Standard Chartered Bank, US, Philips headquarters in Netherlands for 6 months, and in Olam with African countries Ghana, South Africa, Zambia, Tanzania, Uganda, and Mozambique. So I take immense pleasure in welcoming our guest speaker for today, Mr. Sounder. With no further delay, over to you, sir, for today's session.
Thanks a lot, Shanugapriya ma'am. It was indeed it was a wonderful introduction. Thanks a lot. Hello, good morning, everyone. No, so probably like for the next 1.5 hours, we will try to make this session as interactive as possible, right? So don't treat me as your college professor. Maybe I'm kind of senior for you, so we can have a lot of interactions, a lot of conversations during this 1 hour. So I request everyone probably for another minute to come on video and say a hi so that we'll put a face to your name.
Hello, sir. Sorry to interrupt. Your video is a bit blurred, actually.
Oh, is it so? Is it okay now? Probably it might be because of the signal issues.
Or having a bit of a less bad network, I guess.
Yeah, yes, guys. I'm waiting for your screens. Just turn on your video for a minute and just say a hi so that we'll put some face on your name.
Please do switch on your videos for a while and then you can switch it off.
Thank you, Sivadarshini. Hello, everyone. Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Yes, sir.
Good. Good. So how is this new normal? Meeting in Zoom, having all the webinar sessions, everything on Zoom, skipping all the classes so that your parents would feel that what you guys are doing, sitting for 6-7 hours, concentrating and attending all the classes. It is in one way good, right? So having this kind of mode of education is good, right? And everyone are BCom, am I right? So this is a complete BCom batch. Okay.
BBA and MCom also there.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for everyone. Okay, so I hope you would have observed what is today's discussion is all about, right? So the topic is transformation and you. So can anyone tell me what is a transformation? There is no right or wrong answer. So it's probably like it's your view of expressing thoughts. A change, okay? So I'll open the chat box. People are chatting, yeah. Okay, change happening in your life, interesting. You can also unmute and speak to me.
For the betterment.
Okay, excellent. Any other thoughts? A lot of people are kind of a camera shy or mic shy. I'm not too sure, but you guys have to kind of unmute yourself and open up, because see, I'll tell you what is happening in the corporate world. So all our trainings, our day-to-day workings are happening in this mode only. So you have to practice this new normal. I'm damn sure that at least for next 3-4 years, we're not going to have any office. So everything is going to be on virtual, specifically in our space, finance and account space. Are you guys are with me?
Yes, sir.
The more you interact, the more you speak, the more content you will get from me. Yeah, Shivdashni, I'll answer you in the end of the session. So we have a Q&A. All right. So yeah, yes, guys, open up. So what do you think about transformation? So why this, the topic of today's session is going to be transformation? Why not something else?
I believe transformation is required. We are still a student. From a student to an employee, we need kind of a transformation. For that, we need a proper guidance. I hope that this webinar is based on that.
Excellent. Yes, very good thought. Thanks, Brinda. Very good thought. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'll share my screen. Let me know once you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir, we could see the screen.
Perfect. Okay. Right. So yes, someone, I think Brinda was telling me that that there is a transformation required from moving from college to the corporate. Yes, I do agree with that. So with that as a base, the objective of this session is to understand what is a transformation is, and why transformation is required. And then we'll also touch base with the current job market, and we'll learn about a few companies, few industries, and we'll also kind of try to answer the questions like why, where, what, when, and how you need a job. And then we'll also touch base with some specific interview techniques and skills very specific to the finance and accounts domain. All right. Okay, so back to our question. So transformation. Yeah, yes. So transformation is nothing but redefining what something is, right? And it is not about doing something better, but it is about redefining how it's being done. So you can see a clip in the right corner of the window. This picture is a very famous picture of whenever someone talks about a transformation. So you will see this butterfly picture. So what does this depict is that so the transformation happens from an egg to a caterpillar, caterpillar to a pupa, and pupa to a butterfly. Now my question is, someone says that it is a change. Now, do you guys really think that transformation and change are two words synonymous? So what is your thoughts? Do you think that change and transformation are the same? With that, I have I've explained you about what does this transformation define, the definition of this transformation. Now you guys think and tell me whether this transformation and the word change are one and the same, or they are different.
Transformation and change are not the same, because change can be both bad and good, but
Perfect.
transformation will normally direct to the betterment of oneself.
Excellent, excellent, Brinda. Thanks a lot. Any other thoughts other than Brinda? You guys had everyone had breakfast? Any other thoughts, guys? Open up, please. We'll try to make this session as interactive as possible. You want me to call the names? Or interest of time, we'll move on. So yes, Brinda, as you said, you're right. So change is different from transformation, right? So for example, so you can change a dress code, you can change an approach or change a direction. So change is more to do with modifying a behavior, but transformation is to do with modifying a value, right? So, and it happens for a vision for your future. As you said, yes, you're right. So change can be a plus or minus, for a negative or a positive, but always transformation intends to go in a directional way of betterment and the value. So changing a value. Now, two mantras that I'm going to teach you in this context of transformation is reinvent yourself, discover a new within you. So I will tell you what had happened for me. So when I was doing my undergraduation, right? So I've got opportunities from different companies. So I used to attend a lot of interviews. I was thinking that at that point of time, so the transformation is all about wearing a formal dress code and kind of advancing my English speaking skills and written communication, because we have to write a lot of emails. So I was thinking that that is the change, that is the transformation that I require. But it is not the case. So once I hit the corporate, right? So and once I start working with the corporate, so I got to know that there are a lot more things that has to happen as a transformation from within us. It's not just changing your dress code or improving uh, your communication skills. Yes, that is part of a transformation, but that is not the full transformation that is required, right? So we will see more in the coming slides, but I'll just stop here. I'll just pause here. I wanted to hear from you. Do you agree with this, guys? You have any other thoughts on this? You understand what I'm trying to tell here for this transformation?
Yes.
Okay, I've heard one Esther.
Yes, sir.
All right, so perfect. So what do you think, what is the transformation that you require from this slide? What is your thoughts? Someone can tell. So what is that I'm trying to tell in this slide? What is the transformation I was mentioning about? So we are now clear that I'm not talking about the changes in the dress codes or your appearance or the skill sets that we want to improve. But what is that I'm trying to tell you here? There is a hidden thing here in the slide. I'm looking for that one or two words that I'm trying to mention. Any thoughts?
You guys are responding in the chat.
Okay. I have to open a chat window. Right, Shivadarshini is telling that a transformation is not changing a thing. It's like changing the values, getting mentally prepared. Excellent, Nidhi. Yes. Can't we say change is the first step of transformation? Correct, Uma. So it is not only the first step, a collective change or a massive change. It is kind of an upside down change is called as a transformation. So, but both are not synonymous. Okay, guys, so let's move on. So I'll share my screen again. All right, so what I was trying to tell you is the transformation that we are looking for is in your attitude. So transformation is a mindset. So that's what I was trying to tell you. So transformation is a mindset, right? Okay, so let's move on. Now, this is going to be an interesting topic. So job, why you need a job? Where do we get a job? Which job should we apply? What should I do to get a job? How do I get a job? Now, before going into this, so I just wanted to hear from you. So how many of you are planning to pursue your higher educations after your college? And how many of you are desperately looking for a job after your college? And probably I may have another option also. How many of you don't know what to do? Guys, you can speak actually. You can unmute and speak.
We'll look for a job, sir.
Excellent. Okay. Who else?
Yeah, looking for a job, sir.
Excellent. Okay. So anyone in this batch who doesn't know what to do, they're still in confusion whether to pursue the higher education or don't know what to do after completing the course. How many of you are like that? Okay. All right. So perfect. So the thing is that so now before even we are taking a decision, so we have to consider a lot of factors. Now, when we are deciding to pursue a higher education, I'm absolutely fine. So probably, so then whatever we are going to discuss will going to help you after a couple of years or whenever you're completing your PG. But whenever someone has decided that after this undergraduation, you're going to take up a job, then now the question for you guys is why you need a job. So don't answer me, but these are some thoughts that I'm going to leave it with you. So you guys have to think why you need a job. Are you planning for a short-term job, or are you going to do a long-term career? So what is your plan? And which job makes you to makes you to build your career? So what is the nature of job that you want to do? So these are the two important questions I want you guys to think before even entering into the job market. Now, the first question is why you need a job. The second question is which job that you're going to apply. So which job that you're going to search for? What is your target job? Now, so these are, it seems to be just two questions, but if you sit and start put a lot of thoughts in it and start thinking on these two lines, you will get a number of analysis. You will find yourself, it is kind of reinventing yourself, right? So when you start thinking that which job you should apply, now you have to know about yourself. What is your strengths, weaknesses? What is your area of interest? So some may be good in costing. Some may be very good in terms of communication. So everything will come out when you sit and start thinking which job is the best job for you. Are you guys with me? So I have a statistics which says that 80 to 85% of people, specifically in India, are choosing a job either by influenced by their friends or their family. Do you know that? So because of your friend is applying a job and joining that particular company, we will also do the same. Right? All right. So we'll move on. So first, before even we are understanding about the job market, so where you want to search a job, first we have to be very, very aware of who are our employers. So either of these employers we are going to get a job, right? So the knowledge of knowing your employer is a must whenever you try to go for a job hunt. Very specific in the finance and accounts domain. Now we can classify our employers into three types: government and quasi-government, public, private, multinational companies, and non-multinational companies. So these are the predominant categories, broad categories, right? You guys know this very well. You would have studied in your academics, right? So now I am further classifying this based on the nature of the business that they do. So we call this as industry. So the manufacturing and the trading companies, financial institutions, IT and service companies, right? So I can also give some examples. So you guys know about Tata Steel, Ford, right? We have a Hyundai factory near I think it's near Oragadam, right? So what are those nature of industries? They are manufacturing companies, right? Any example for financial institutions? I request you guys to unmute and talk to me. So any example of financial institutions that you know? Who is a big employer?
Insurance company.
Okay, so that comes under service companies. But yes, financial institutions are companies like banking, investment banking, your Templeton, PN Baribas, HDFC. So guys, I'm not gonna tell anything new. So everything is there before you, and you guys know everything. The only thing is that I'm just putting it as in a channelized way, right? Now the third sector, the third industry is IT and service companies. As someone was telling, so all the service products like say Airtel or any insurance products comes under service company, and IT company, you know. So IT, again, IT we can divide into product and service based companies. For example, Oracle, SAP, Microsoft are all IT product based companies, and companies like Wipro, TCS, Accenture are called IT services companies, right? And in service sector, specifically in service sector, I just wanted to touch base upon something called as business process services. So that's a huge market today, guys. So I am seeing most of the finance and account roles are getting popped up in this particular industry. So we call them as BPO, right? So a lot of job opportunities for finance and accounts domains is with this sector, which is a service company sector. They call it themselves as business process solutions, right? How many of you know either of your someone in your family or your friends are working in such kind of companies? For example, TCS, Accenture. So Wipro is having a huge setup in Chennai as well. You guys know this, right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay, so moving on, further drilling down. So we have three categories of the nature of roles that we do. The one is the front office role. The second one is the mid office role. And third one is the bank office role, right? So these are the three types of roles that is available for a finance and accounting sector: front office, mid office, and the back office. Now we'll see what is a front office. So front office is nothing but it's more related to the clients and the revenue. So the front office guys are the guys who brings revenue to the company. So it might be a sales, or it might be a sales support as well. And mid office are uh, the roles which connects the back office and front office. And there are some compliances and regulatory stuffs associated with the company. So all those roles are played by a mid office role. For example, if you are doing your corporate secretaryship, then probably you have a high chance of getting a role in the mid office. Now, and the final one is the back office. So back office is very important for any organization, and we have a lot of roles specifically for finance and accounts. A lot of job opportunities are there in the back office roles. For example, so if you have a sales team, you will have a back office for a sales team. So supporting with a lot of data, supporting with a lot of reports. So a back office is not necessarily to be placed in the place where the actual sales is happening. So this is a big advantage for India in terms of lot of other organizations across the world are opening their back offices in India, right? For example, so Shell has a back office which is called as Shell Shared Services, right? So how many of you know that? And similar way, Philips has its own shared services in Chennai, which is called as the back office, right? And similar to that, if you go and see every other bank is having a back office in Chennai. Standard Chartered has a back office. BNY has a back office. Barclays has a back office. So this back office roles are very common and very prominent for all the finance and accounts profiles. So why do you know why? So the objective of letting you know this particular structure is you have to be very, very clear on where you are exactly placed. So when you are applying for a job or when you are called out for an interview, so you have to be very clear what is the industry that you're going to work with and what is your role is. Either it is a front office role or it is a back office role. The reason why I'm telling all this is 91% of the freshers do not know which team they will fit in a company while applying for a job. And this is a mess actually. Now, when we are trying to create a career and we are seeing our job very seriously, if we are not known about all these facts about a company, so obviously, so you will get to know after a year, you will realize that, oh, I'm a back office guy. I want you guys to ensure even before you apply for a company, right? So you should know what is their model. Is it a back office? It is a front office, or it is a mid office. So what sort of role that you're going to do? They would be giving a job description to you, right? So you read the job descriptions thoroughly even before you're applying for a company. And then I appreciate you to go and question them back, get a clarity on your role. So what is this role is all about? Where I will fit in the company? So what is the nature of the company? So you can also go and Google search on the company's website and prepare before even the interview starts. So all these are additional points that you will be assessed during an interview. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
And I also prefer that. So whenever you go and apply for a company, right? So take their financials. Every public company will have their financials published in their website and see what they are doing. So they have a lot of, in their annual report, they have mentioned a lot about the company. Read them, right? So it will not be in Greeks and Latin. Everything is what you have studied in your BCom. Okay. So you guys can go through it and you can quote some of the examples and some of the your observations in the interview that will really grab the attention of the person, the interview panel, right? So this is a trick that I'm telling you. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay. So let's move on. Now, so this is fine, guys. So you have done your part. Everything is fine. Now, one basic question normally you should ask yourself is that why should this employer hire you? Are you with me? So the question is, why should this employer hire you? Why it is you? Why it is not someone else? Do you think this is a fair question? Any thoughts? Why this question? Okay, so I'll put myself into an employer's role, into the shoes of an employer, and I'll see that every rupee I spend, I should get that return, right? So hiring a person is an investment, Allah is a cost for me, right? So that's why we call that particular thing as cost to the company. We call them as CTC because the employer is spending money on the resource. Now, what is the return that the employer is expecting? And basis that only all his decision of hiring a person will depend upon. Are you guys with me? I'm trying to relate this to a product that we are buying, right? So we are buying a smartphone. So what are the features that we are seeing? So I can't exactly compare that, but just to understand, just to make you understand. Are you guys with me? Right? So we'll see what are the different factors that makes your job prosperity, getting a job prosperity higher, right? So the first factor is company's objectives and values. Now, whenever you go and apply for a job, so the employer will have a role description and the company will have a value, a culture, an objective that is clearly visible in the job description itself. If you read a job description, you will come to know that your role. So what is the requirement of this role? And when you go to this company's website, you will see their vision, mission, and their statement, the vision statement, mission statement, what is their objectives, what is their values, right? This is on the employer's part. And the second factor is your skills and knowledge, right? And the third factor is the cost component. Now, when you see, this is kind of an A union, B union, C, right? Are you guys with me? So the level of intersection of this three, right? So the role requires the adequate knowledge and skill is possessed with you, and the cost portion is also fine with the employer, then the opportunity of you getting the job is higher. So when this intersection is more and more, the opportunity for getting a job with that particular employer is higher. Now the skills and knowledge part, right? So which is mentioned here in the red color arrows or the red color circle. That is the part that we have to focus on. Now, how does an employer knows that you are possessed with the skills and knowledge? How do we know? So this is predominantly from your performance in the interview. Are you guys with me? This is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So now,
sir.
you agree with this or any other thoughts you want to pour? So what happens today is that, so when I go and recruit for a specific role, now, so I know that I have a role description or a job descriptions, right? And when I interview a person, now I see these two components, the cost and the company's objective, whether this person will fit for this. Now, how that person exhibits his skills and knowledge in the interview, say probably the interview will happen for not more than 30 minutes. So the 30 minutes is going to define whether this person is going to fit in my organization or not. So the performance that we are going to do in the interview is very, very important. All right, so we'll move on. Now, so we know that the significance of performance in the interview, right? So the first 2 minutes in an interview is very, very important, guys. Because the moment the interviewer sees you, right? So he forms an assumption about you. Okay, so this candidate is like this. On what basis he forms an assumption? It's because of this, the first 2 minutes. Right? So this 2 minutes is the time that you're going to create an impression to the interviewer. So very specifically in this virtual world, A lot of interviews are happening online. And the time is even more lesser now. I think it's 1.5 minutes or 1 minute even. By the way of interacting in the call, so we will come to know that so whether this candidate is will be suitable or not. So the first 2 minutes is very important in any interview. So you guys have to pay a lot of attention for in this. The first 2 minutes is going to be very important, right? So we'll move on. Now, you guys know about an interview. So I hear that a lot of people would be telling you what are the different rounds in interview. I hope you guys would have also attended some mock interviews as well. Anybody can tell me what are the different rounds of an interview, very specifically to finance and accounts.
Aptitude round,
Excellent.
then
Okay.
speech round, and then one-to-one interview.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Nidhi. Yeah. So right. Yes. So we have a group discussion and an aptitude, or either of this will happen. And then a technical round will happen, and then a HR round will happen. Now I'm going to tell you. So far we know that these rounds are happening, and there will be a lot of questions or bunch of questions or discussions will be happening. But you guys know what is that an employer is looking, or how he is assessing you? I'm going to tell you that. Now, when a group discussion is happening, right? So the first thing that an employer will assess you is on your presence of mind. So when I give a situation to you, when I put you in a situation, so how you think, how you are reacting to it, what is your analytical ability? So based on the aptitude test, we'll easily figure out the analytical ability. What is your grasping skills? How fast you are in terms of understanding situation and then putting into action. Language and communication, very important. Professionalism. So how professional you're presenting yourself. And in a technical round. So technical round, I consider it as a very important round. The reason behind is a lot of decision making happens in this technical round, right? So the first and foremost is your basics, accounting basics. So as a senior guys, I'm telling you, so you have to stick on to the concepts, right? So whatever we have studied for the 5 years, right from your +1, +2. So 5 years we have studied commerce and accounts and management, of course. So you have to be thorough with the basics. You have no other shortcuts, right? And the next one is on the computer application skills. If you know Excel or a lot of other office applications, that is an added advantage. Important thing is attitude and learning mindset. So not everyone knows everything. So we also see that whether this person is having this learning mindset, and this person can be scalable to the next level. So in an organization, say for the next 3 years, where I can place this person if I want to train him and groom him, whether he's inclined for learning new things and grooming himself. Communication. And in a HR round, attitude, fitment, very important thing. Communication, cost effective. So I was telling you this, right? Sustainability. So very important thing. Now, if you see this, so I've mentioned this attitude in bold and underlined it, right? So the reason is altitude defines your attitude. So attitude defines your altitude in a company. Now, synonymously, attitude means that people would used to say, used to terminal coin it as uh, a very bad thing, right? So I've seen people who have been telling that அவளுக்கு ரொம்ப attitude இருக்கு. She has got a lot of attitude here. Actually, it's wrong. You guys have to have an attitude. So it's a positive attitude. But if you don't have an attitude, then probably like you will not succeed in the corporate. I'm serious about it. Any thoughts here, guys? Any thoughts here? I'll pause for a moment. Any thoughts here? Any thoughts? Do you think that this is, you have any other thing to be added here, or any other clarifications, any other thing that you wanted to discuss? I request you to unmute and speak. Probably we'll not have this chatting now. I want you guys to unmute and speak to me. Talk to me.
What kind of attitude we should show in our workplace, sir?
Excellent. So very good question. No, the first thing is, before even showing, we have to develop an attitude. So that's what I'm mentioning about, right? So develop an attitude for yourself. Now, when you ask me what kind of attitude should I develop, this question is more for you to think. So if you ask me, so I have developed an attitude that I can lead a team. So any team I can lead it. That is my attitude. It's not a skill set. Leadership is a skill set. Right? Okay, I'll put it in this way. So any situation, right? Whatever situation may be, if you ask me, so my attitude will be, I'm able to manage it in a very calm and composed way. Or I can quote a best example of Dhoni, right? Captain Cool. That is his attitude. So he knows where to shout, how to get things done, right? He knows where to keep cool. And we may also see people with aggressive attitude. So they will be very focused on their work. They know how to get their works done. So attitude is something that we have to develop. And we should think and know that what attitude suits us. Any other thoughts, guys? Any other question in this? You can also ask as a fresher what attitude I can develop, sir. It is not about fresher. It is not about a fresher or an experienced. So developing attitude doesn't require it. So that's why I used this word very carefully, that it is a positive attitude, should be a positive one.
Sir, I have a doubt. Like you said, like
Yes, Brinda.
if someone loads you with the work, your boss loads you with the work. So in that case, we need to accept it in a calm and composed manner. That is a perfect attitude, or like more like acceptable attitude. But when we couldn't tackle it, won't it what to say, fire back to us?
Okay. Right. So this is a very specific scenario based question, Brinda. So how, okay, so I'll answer to it. See what happens. See, when you go for a work, right? So you have your capacities, you have your efficiencies and efforts. Now, when something is not, or is something is going beyond it, definitely that will impact your quality of the work being done, right? So you should diplomatically know to say no. That is an attitude, actually.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Yes, guys. Any other thoughts? So you can have a positive attitude in right from your college days itself. I have seen a lot of people who have developed a very good attitude right from their school. Today, I'm seeing a lot of kids. So attitude is nothing but a reflection of you guys. So how you are reflecting yourself back to me when I'm talking with you or when I'm dealing with you, what kind of person you are. So how you are reflecting yourself to me is the attitude. It's nothing great in that word, but developing attitude, yes, it requires a lot of thought processes. We'll move on, right? So we'll see some scenarios. What happens in an interview? Let me know once if you guys are able to see my screen and hear this.
So you need to share the audio also.
Okay, the audio is not visible, right?
Yeah, the audio is not heard.
Sorry, audio is not audible, right? So okay, but you can see my screen. The video is playing, right? Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's playing, sir.
So probably I don't think so. I can do that now because I think it requires some setup. Probably I'll skip this, but this is a small video I would want to view to see. So probably I'll send this video to your I think to either to Shanmuga Priya or Shashi and ask her to circulate it. I want everyone to go and see this video. So this is a video this is available in the YouTube as well. If you go and search for attitude is everything. You will see this scenario where a particular person is looking for a specific role, requires a person with a specific attitude. And in this process, he will be interviewing a lot of people, and he'll be portraying what are the different kinds of people that he's encountering as part of his interview process. All right. So now we are moving into another topic on the resume building, right? So this is a small statistics that I wanted to show you guys that 75% of resumes are rejected before they reach the hiring manager. So what does this mean? So this talks about the quality of the resumes or the CVs today. So now in a corporate hierarchy, so what will happen is that so you have a team who will screen all your resumes, and only the screened resumes will be given to the hiring manager. The hiring manager is the person who actually requires this particular role to be worked under him. So when the resume itself is not going to the hiring manager, then we'll not get any calls from the company, right? So this process of screening is very, very important for a company because for that particular role, so for example, I may require only 10 people and I may get 500 resumes. Now, how do I filter this 500 resumes? So they have a lot of techniques for doing it. So one of the technique is the first thing what I will see is that whether the CV is suiting my requirement or not. So actually your resume should talk about your experiences, right? So your academics, so we'll see some features of a resume, very good resume, right? So prepare a very good resume as a fresher. Okay, you can include your extracurricular activities, projects, and you should be very good in terms of articulating it. So thorough with your resume, read it 5 to 10 times before even you are submitting it to the HR, right? So as I was telling you, the important portion of this is how you articulate your resume whenever you get selected. So you will see hundreds of examples of in Google. If you go and search, you will see thousands of examples of building a good resume. So the important thing what I wanted to touch base is as a fresher. So what are the other things that you can include in your resume is you can include your extracurricular activities and the projects that you have done. So when you make this as part of your resume, you should be very important thing to note is that you should be very good in terms of deriving something out of that. For example, if you are a cultural event organizer, right, or you are a very good singer, so you should know how to interpret that in a in an interview. People is not going to ask you sing a song, right? So if I'm a cultural event organizer and that is my extracurricular activities that I was doing in as part of my college, then I would mention that as I've got a lot of organizing skills because I've organized 5 programs for my college and I've developed my organizing skills because of this. Are you with me? Right, we'll move on. So I hope you guys also know this, that every interview, the first question is will be asked is, tell me about yourself. Why do you apply for this job? Why do you think that we have to hire for you? These are very, very common questions. Now, for the first question, tell me about yourself. You have to prepare this as a, I would say, as a small story. So you have to tell about yourself as a story. So every other interview, not even as a fresher, till after you are getting into a job, you are applying for another new position, all through your career, you're going to answer this question about yourself. So every time you have to fine tune it. So you have to prepare a story about yourself, right? You can practice it now itself. So what are the things you can tell? So you can tell about yourself, your origin. So what is your father and mother? Anything specific about it, you can mention that. And then you can also talk about your interests. Why do you choose BCom, not any other course? Why do you choose commerce? So something interesting should be there, right? And the next question is, why do you apply for this job? Now, to answer this question, I'm connecting this question to the earlier slide I was talking about the job description and the value of the company. So we have to be very thorough with what company we are applying for. So we can relate that, sir, I want to have a career in this way. And when I go and read the company's profile, I'm finding the profile is matching with my skill sets. So this is kind of the answer that we have to give. Are you guys with me? Is it clear? Any other thoughts, guys? You can unmute and talk to me. All right, so we'll move forward. So now on the technical portion, so whenever we are attending an interview, we'll have a technical round and where you will be encountered with a lot of subject oriented questions. Now ensure you're strong in basic accounting rules, your commercial terms, economic terms, your accounting standards, your management theories. So all the basics, because as a fresher, right? So the interviewer will not expect you to know more than your basics. So even if your question, okay, so you will also be encountered with some journal entries, cash books, BRS, cost sheet. So some might have a practical exam kind of stuff. They may ask you to post a journal entry or to narrate a journal entry. So what is debit, what is credit? And you can expect anything in an interview. You have to be prepared. So conceptual understanding of all your commerce and accounts would increase your possibility to get a job. So now if someone is asking you like why inventory is valued at standard cost, I'm damn sure that this question is not your book question, which will you can find an answer straightforward in the books. But this kind of questions will be, you will see this more in terms of checking or validating that you have studied with the conceptual understanding. Right? And current affairs is very, very important. So you may also encounter questions with the current recent trends and current affairs in the industry. Computer application skills like Excel or whatever office applications or any specific accounting applications like Tally will increase your chance of getting a job. All right, guys. So I'll also like to share some tips and tricks. So probably that will be helpful for you when you are preparing for the interviews. So dress code, the first thing that will be noted in any interview is your dress code, because whenever you enter a virtual room or in a face-to-face interview, the first thing we'll see is your dress code. Okay. And the second one is the eye contact. Right. So be assertive. Don't stare at people because they are also human beings, right? So don't stare at them. So you have a very good eye contact. So what do I mean by very good eye contact is that if you have more than two people, you look at both of them and give a smile. Good body language, right? So guys, note it from me. With these three factors, dress code, eye contact, and body language, 50% of about you will be inferred by the interviewer, what kind of person you are. After that only everything else, all the conversations will go. So be confident on what you have prepared. Don't get panic about what you have not prepared. Okay, so answer politely, wait till the question is completed. So that shows you a professionalism, right? So don't get panic what you have not prepared, and don't get panic also when you don't know the answer. So your understanding of that particular subject may be very limited, right? So whenever there is a question that you don't know the answer, don't get panic, right? You can also ask for the interviewer for a moment to think and answer. You have to express that politely, right? And mind your tone. I've seen a lot of people during interview, they don't have a good tonality, because this will create a positive attitude. So this is very important line. So interview is either an opportunity to get a job or an opportunity to learn. So either I'm going to get a job or it is a learning curve for me. So from this interview I learn, and then I'm going to apply this for my next interview, right? And attitude defines your altitude. We saw this. And the most important thing is stay hungry. So stay hungry. What I mean by stay hungry is the learning never stops. So when someone thinks that your learning curve is going to stop from this college, and when we go in enter into a job market, your learning curve will not be there, then it's absolutely, this is not correct. So in fact, the real learning curve is going to start from there, right? We are done, guys. I'm done. So I'm open for any questions or any other thoughts or anything that you want to share. Very specific to finance and accounts domain, or even if you have any clarifications on what do you pursue after your UG or anything open, feel free to ask me.
Brinda, hope you can take it over from here.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear. Sorry, the voice is a bit feeble.
Brinda, please take it over from here, Brinda.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, sure. Girls, please post your query. If you have any, just post it in the chat box. I will convey it to sir. Yes, there comes one question. Sir, Shivadarshini has asked, in upcoming years, how the works will be for the freshers, sir.
Right. So it's an interesting question, Shivadarshini, because as I was telling you, so it's a new normal, right? So we are not opening offices, or we are not encouraging people to come offices on a regular basis, at least for this year. Now everything happens over a virtual mode. So right from the training and all the interactions, everything happens on a virtual mode. And in fact, this opens up a lot of opportunities for finance and accounts domain, Shivadarshini, because when we have proven that we can work from anywhere today, so a lot of jobs are getting offshore to India. All these back office jobs are getting offshore to India uh, in these recent days. I'm seeing a lot of openings very specific to the entry level. So don't worry about it. We will have a lot of job opportunities for freshers, but the environment is bit different. It's not the same that you have to go office and there will be a person who will be training you. That those things and all is not going to happen, at least for next one and a half, 2 years.
I have heard that LinkedIn is a very vast platform for applying or for getting recruited. So, how to approach that? That was not answered in most cases wherever I've heard that was not answered. So, could you give me some insights on that, sir? Like how to get the students, get the
Perfect.
work.
Okay. So first we'll understand about what is a LinkedIn is. So LinkedIn is a professional networking platform, right? So you have a Facebook and you have a bunch of friends in the Facebook, right? So we know people, we are connecting with known and unknown persons, friends of friends. So similarly, LinkedIn is a professional platform, a networking platform. So now what happens in LinkedIn is that, so when so you can follow a company in LinkedIn, and you will have a lot of HRs and other people are very active in LinkedIn. So whenever they have a job internally, they will post the job in LinkedIn. Now, when you follow or when you subscribe that particular company or that particular person, you will get all the job updates. So this is one part of using the LinkedIn. The second part is similar to how you send a friend request in Facebook. So similarly, you can send a request to connect a lot of LinkedIn members, right? See, for example, you have a dream company. So you can go and see who are all in the dream company, who are all working in the dream company. Probably I prefer to connect with a lot of HRs. Or if I want to take a mentor, then I will connect with the leadership team of that company. So, and I will get all the posts. It's very similar to how a Facebook works, right? So we'll get the posts that is being posted in their wall, either by the leadership, the team himself, or by the company. So from company, they will be having some sort of messages posted on their wall. So I can get to know about all this. And very importantly, so for example, if I'm coming to know that, say, I'll take an example of, say, Ford India is hiring for a specific role. I'm coming to know this. Now, what I will do is that, so if I have a connection in Ford, I will just check with that connection that, sir, this is what I've heard. Do you have any internal communication about it? Can you refer me, please? So Brinda, I'll tell you. So I have referred almost 4 people whom I have connected with LinkedIn. So people had connected with LinkedIn, and they have requested me to refer them to my organization.
Thank you, sir. So there is some more queries posted by the
Yeah.
girls. But it is by Kirtana. She has asked, doing MBA in abroad is better than doing it in India, sir. She's asking
Yes,
if it's
definitely. Yes, yes, Kirtana. Definitely, it has its own values.
Sir, good day, this is Shanmugapriya here.
Yeah. Hi, Shanmugh. Yeah.
On behalf of our students, I'm representing this question, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, this is as you mentioned this in the session. I am asking this question. See, nowadays there are a lot of BPO and BPS openings for the youngsters, and also back office openings for youngsters. So, as you rightly said, but the students think this is not an exact domain-based opening for a fresher, and it is not that good to give it as an experience in their resume. So this kind of myth is prevailing among the youngsters, and they don't take it seriously about this BPS openings or the backend operation openings, because as you told, we have almost all the companies dropping in, like Infosys, CTS, TCS, etc. is for BPS. And they hire exclusively BCom students because it is something related to finance and accounts. So can you please insist and the importance of this to our students, which will make my job easier when it comes to placements. So that's my humble request.
Yeah, sure, Shanmugapriya. So okay, so I can give a clarity on what is this back office operations are. Okay. Okay. So guys, say I have a company. Now there is something called as cost of operations, right? So for example, so if I have my own setup in, say, for example, I have a company in US, and so my company is, say it's uh, we'll take for an example, it is say car manufacturing company, right? So I have my plant in US and I am supplying it across India, and I have a sales team in US, I have a finance team in US, everything I'm having it in US. Now approximately, when I have a finance setup in US for one person, right? So I have to spend approximately 150K US dollars per year. I'm talking about a entry level person, right? So this is the cost of hiring a person at an entry level in US in my finance team. Now, when companies started looking for cost arbitrage or cost cutting, and as equivalent as a quality or efficiency, now what companies started thinking about is either setting up their back offices in one place where they can easily hire talents at a relatively less cost. The second option is to go for an outsourcing, right? So we saw 2 options. So the first option is setting up their own shared service setup as a back office in countries like India, Manila, Sri Lanka. We have shared operations in Dubai as well. So these are countries where the predominant target is to get the talents. For example, the amount of chartered accountants and cost accountants plus your MBAs and BComs is higher in India. So it is easy for anyone to start open up shared services, financial shared services, and hire people here. And they will be having a lot of tie-ups with a lot of colleges, and it's easy to get the talents and onboard them, train them, and bring them up to this up to the face. The second option is I will outsource my process, this back office process, to companies like TCS, Wipro, who are called as BPOs, right? So to me, guys, so this model is going to be, I mean, so for the past 10, 15 years, this is one of the successful model for any company. And this is going to be our future. So today, people who are working with the front office, the core companies, next 5-10 years, you will see that they will restructure their company because of a lot of cost factors. And 1/3 of the population, 1/3 of the roles are going to be offshore to India. This is the trend. This is going to happen very specifically in finance and accounts domain.
Thank you,
So
sir.
it has its, sorry, Brinda. So it has its own pros and cons, right? So every other employment will have a pro and con. So and very similar to it, this model is also having its pros and cons. And it doesn't mean that it is less value.
Thank you so much, Saundar sir, for insisting this to our students. Yeah. Yes, Brinda, you can take one more question, Brinda.
Sir, there's
Final
one question like if we don't know an answer for a question even after thinking for a while, how should we face the situation? Or should we say openly and genuinely that we don't know the answer? Or how should we handle the situation in the interview process?
Excellent, Brinda. It's a very nice question. So see what happens in an interview is that as an interviewer, I will not be in a position, I will not be expecting you to answer all the questions, right? So apart from the questions, I am also very vigilant in terms of how you are presenting yourself. So what is your attitude? So understanding your, so it's a situation based, right? So when you don't know the answer, how you're reacting to it. So that is very, very important in any interview. So it doesn't mean that out of 10 questions, you're not answering any question. Then that is a different case, right? So, but when you don't know answers for few questions, you can politely say them that, sorry, sir, I don't know the answer, sorry. But ensure that at the end of the interview, you take some time. Sir, I wanted to ask you a few things. Can you spend 2 minutes with me, to the interviewer, and then get all the answers from the interviewer for the questions that he asked. So what will happen is that, so it will create a very positive impact, and also it will really showcase the learning mindset to the interviewer, right?
So thank you, sir, for this insightful session. It was really, provoking our minds and giving us a lot of insights. So I'll just pass over this mic to Nidhi to give her vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Brinda. Yeah.
Good day, sir. Good day, everyone. On behalf of Sri Shankarlal Sundarbai Sachin Jain College for Women, I would like to extend my heartiest thanks to our Honorable Resource Person, Mr. R. Sundar. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your inspiring and motivating words. And with your guidance, we'll surely try to transform ourselves in a way to face the corporate world. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank our management, our respected principal, and our beloved teachers to provide us with such a wonderful opportunity where we learn how to improve ourselves. Last but not the least, I would also like to thank all the participants for joining. Thank you once again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sohar, sir. It was
Thanks, everyone.
a wonderful session. We had a lot of insights. Hope our students enjoyed the session, and I could see a lot of positive feedback in the chat box, sir, that your answers are really positive and it's a learning for us. So thanks a lot for inspiring our students by a wonderful presentation today. Thank you, Sashi ma'am, for referring such an excellent resource person for our students. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Students, we have posted the feedback link in the chat box. Please do fill in that feedback link, which will be useful for us as well as for the speaker. So thank you so much, students. Without your interaction, this session would not have been possible today. So thank you once again, all. We can wind up the session, technical team. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thanks
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, 1 second. If you're there, we can have a pic, group pic.
Hey, yaar, loose bhai.
Sir? Sashiman sir is there still?
I think no, ma'am. He left, I guess.
Okay, fine. No problem. A technical team, we can wind up.